Oh, so let's see what the junior guys normally do in this situation. Well, we know what, well, obviously, aside of the fact that they would just go ahead and do the code without the TDD way, so let's say, let's give them a bit of a credit, they're not so junior anymore. But technically, what would happen is really like set up this client, right? So we really want to get this client in here, and this is part of like dependency inversion. It's really not exactly a dependency inversion yet. It's gonna come later, but it is sort of like touching upon that concept. So the idea is that from the perspective of, so what does dependency inversion say? It says that high-level components or high-level layers should not depend on low-level details. So the fact that we are actually calling HTTP client is a very much low-level detail. So we want to abstract this away through this user service. So what can we do? Well, we can obviously add HTTP service in here. So in order to do it, we can use the imports, and then in here we can say sorry, I think it's an array. So we import HTTP client module. So there is a client testing module. It's pretty funny actually that a lot of people use it, but let's just use this one for now. It will make a lot more sense later. So I have this HTTP client module, and now should be created. It's already done for me. That's great. Now let's think about like what can we call in here? Well, we can say it should call I don't know, what do we get? We get like all users. There's a lot of like convention of how to do it, how you name it. This is something you should discuss with the team. From my perspective, I wouldn't really care. I just care that we use the same naming. In our company, we use the word get all. So let's just use it for now. So in order to do it now, obviously we need to execute that method. So in here, I can say const users equals service dot get all. I know this is observable. I know this is silly and will never work, but I'm just trying to like show you an example. And then we can say user length, whatever that is, let's say to be greater than 0. So we expect at least 1. Okay, so we have a bunch of like testing code in here. Obviously that is failing, as we mentioned in the previous one. That should be this. That this method doesn't exist. Obviously we have errors. So let's create a method first. For now, I can say, I don't know, just an array of one element. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because when you code TDD, this is super important. Like a lot of people don't get it. Shout out to all the juniors from our company. It's like people think that TDD is a bit tedious. I mean, you just think about one thing at a time, and then you know what's coming next, right? But the whole thing is you need to hold your horses and don't let you flow into implementation too much. The whole idea is you want to write the test and fill up the code. So write the specs in a test and then fill up the code. And obviously it takes a lot of cycles to actually get there. But you craft something amazing. So let's say this is a number array. Alright, maybe that's a bit silly example, but what I want you to focus on is the fact that we want to be creating those things inside. Obviously, this is not working well. It's because this is an observable, and then this one is like a static call. So we have to adjust it to the reality of observables. So what we can do is we can subscribe to it. And then here we're gonna get the users. And then inside we can take that code and execute. Alright. So, um, what's happening here? So, 1.5. I think it's Karma doing some tricks. Let me try to run it like that. Yeah, so it says that the, oh yeah, of course. Let me see, so we get the user service. It must be the karma thing, so I really like to start it all over again. Sometimes karma has these glitches in which, I don't know, it doesn't like reflect the recent changes in the files, and then it must have to do something with the loading. Now let's have a look. Okay. Okay, yeah. So you see, this is the first cycle of TDD. Now we should do the refactor, but you know, I tell you a little secret. Like, it's not really red green refactor all the time. Most of the time, when you start a class, it's really red green, red green, red green, and then refactor. It's because you just don't have anything to refactor. It's that simple. Okay, a couple of things I don't like is that we actually include the HTTP client here, and we don't really do it here. So let's just do it. Okay, cool. That shouldn't affect anything because we can see like I don't write. Okay, cool. The other thing is like obviously the user service should not return the number, it should return the user model array. Right now our information is not good. So what we can do is we can just make that call. Sorry. So let's get rid of this of observable and make an actual call. Um, oh yeah, it's because it's an array of those guys. Cool. Now when we run it, well, we pass. So you might be thinking, okay, like how does it work? Like what's really happening in here? Well, you see, when you do unit tests, you would be mocking this HTTP client. The reason why we don't mock it is because this is not an example of unit test. This is an example of integration test. And I'm gonna explain all about it in the next video.